Claire Brown, health and wellness coach and plant-based cooking instructor, here to share a few holiday swaps for those decadent, festive dishes that we all love, but maybe aren't quite so healthy. Today we're going to focus again on sugars. There's a lot of sugar in those holiday dishes, not just in dessert, but most of them contain a lot of extra fat, sugar, and salt. And one really easy way to switch out that processed sugar is to use fruits. We're going to do our ubiquitous cranberry sauce today. Cranberries usually you can find in the market, and they're going to be like buy one get one free. There's tons of them, 2 for $4, whatever. So you usually end up with 2 bags, at least I do. I love cranberry sauce, but we don't usually eat that much. So when you have those extra cranberries, throw them in the freezer. When you make your smoothie in the morning, throw a few in. Cranberries are very tart. If you look at the label, they themselves are very low in sugar, and they taste like it. More power to you if you can eat a cranberry just like that. But in your smoothie, you won't notice, and they have great fiber. They're really good for you. Lots of nutrition. Oh, it even says on there, super fruit. So good marketing, Cranberry Council. So we're gonna do cranberries, and we're gonna make our own cranberry sauce. I know on Thanksgiving Day, it's the last thing you're thinking about. You're like, oh, let me grab that can off the shelf because that's one less thing I have to do. But that can of cranberry sauce, and bar none, is going to have a ton of added sugar. And not only sugar, every single can I picked up contained high fructose corn syrup. Cranberries, high fructose corn syrup. Basically, that's what it is. So even if you made your cranberry sauce with regular sugar, you're ahead of the game. We're going to do it with a little bit of a switch up. We're in Florida. We're going to even make it a little tropical. So I'm going to go ahead and throw in my cranberries. These will cook down quite a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and just throw in the whole bag. I've got a whole nother bag here for Thanksgiving Day. The nice thing about this, you can make this way ahead, right? It's supposed to be cold, so you can make it a week ahead, put it in the fridge, freeze it, whatever. It'll be fine, so you can kind of get that out of the way. Fruit is what's going to help kind of temper the tartness of these cranberries. And you could do any number of things. I'm going to go pineapple. Pineapple in a can. Could you chop a fresh pineapple? Absolutely. But this is in juice, and all I had to do was pop the top. I probably don't need the whole can, which is good because I use this in everything. I'll bake something yummy with it later. I'm going to throw maybe half of it in. It kind of depends on you. Well, maybe no. I almost put the whole can in. I have some other fruits. So I've got my cranberries, I've got my pineapple. If you think pineapple sounds weird, a lot of people use orange. You could use fresh oranges or dun-da-da, mandarin oranges in a can. Just drain off the liquid. You don't need all that liquid. It's going to cook down and get a little runny anyway. You'll notice as we move along here, I put green apples in everything. In they go. They have a little tartness. They're crisp. They have some delicious flavor, plenty of fiber, so they can't hurt. And they're kind of thing you have around the house, right? You could put a red apple in too, but the green apple just has that little extra burst of flavor when you bite into it. Now, a little bit of dried fruit. Dried fruit is very concentrated, so it's really a condiment, right? We don't want to season this with like a ton of dates or raisins or something, because then you're just adding like the same amount of sugar. Yes, it's in a whole form. It definitely has the fiber and nutrition added, but we're trying to cut back on that sugar kick a little bit. I picked figs because I found this awesome bag of figs somewhere that I was shopping, and I love figs. And you see I have maybe 4 of them chopped up. What's going to happen is when someone takes a bite, they're just going to get a little taste, right? If they're lucky, they'll get one little bite of fig in every bite, and it just gives you that little surprise pop, like, oh, what was that? This sounds, this was a fancy cranberry sauce. And that's it. I'm not even going to add any liquid at this time. This pineapple had, there's a little bit of juice I can drain in there, but this is going to cook down. So I'm just going to cover it with a lid. I forgot to put a lid over, but you know what a lid is. And throw it on the stove. And I'm just going to cook it down till it's done. And then taste it. And if it's a little bit, like a little too tart, maybe you've got kids or grown-ups in your household who really have a sweet tooth and aren't going to appreciate the subtle sugary sweetness, you can always add a little pure maple syrup. Or regular sugar. Just regular, this is raw sugar, but if you've got white sugar, okay, like don't panic. but use it as a condiment. Use it to help to flavor it. The thing about sugar is you're gonna have to put a lot in to get it to be sweet. With the fruits, you're getting the sweetness plus the flavor and the nutrition, and it just gives a lot more of a flavor profile. And it's interesting tasting. People are gonna taste it and be like, wow, she didn't buy that from a can. She's been slaving in the kitchen for us. So cranberry sauce, throw in whatever you like. It'll be delicious, trust me. You could also put in spices. I would say I'm a big ginger girl, plus it's, you know, one of those super spices. I'll throw a little ginger in there. You don't have to go crazy. What else? Nutmeg is always a winner. You can throw some turmeric in there. I know I'm a broken record. I say the same thing all the time because they work. You can put them in anything. They're gonna taste great. Anyway, stick it on the stove, put it in the fridge. It'll be ready for Thanksgiving Day. Happy holidays and eat healthy.